I'm going to tell you a small story and I'm going to ask you if you might be this character. It's freshman year of college. You're so stoked to take your first big girl creative writing class because you know since you were a very young kid that you were just a creative writer girly, that you want to be an author, you want to be published, you want to tell stories, romance, fan fiction, fantasy, sci fi, whatever it could be. You were stoked. So you took your first creative writing class and it was very poetry focused. It wasn't anything fine and dandy. You notice that they're teaching a lot more on things that kind of be like whatever, whether it's similes and metaphors, and also like the nitty gritty stuff of like what makes up writing, which is super important. But after taking that class and then another class, you might have started hating your own writing. There were some not so fabulous writing tips and habits that I would not pass down to my worst enemy nor my rival in writing. It's Mila. Welcome to us living our best life lately. I hope you're doing well. This is the right place for you if you love talking about self care and storytelling and all that fun jazz. So let's get into it. Today's topic, we're going to be talking about bad writing habits that we learned in college level creative writing classes and also how I am unlearning them. Number one, we were focusing way more on writing rather than storytelling. And we were explicitly told to not get super emotionally attached to our characters, and writing something that we knew wasn't good enough. In the end, writing what you know, it actually means a lot more than you think. Like, yeah, we probably have never, been in love with a coworker, or we have, and we've probably never been the chosen one, and we probably, never went to magic school, and we probably never were in the Hunger Games, at least not yet. But writing from what you know is actually really cool because everybody, no matter how old and young, have actually experienced certain things that we deeply need to have portrayed in books: fear, anger, sadness, mental health, grief, heartbreak, betrayal. Basically, that coming of age experience that one has. Writing what you know is way more expansive than you think. So you may have not discovered another planet, nor saved the world from who knows what. You may have not done any of those things, but you have certainly been human and you've experienced these things that people would love to read in books. BTW. Writing what you know is great. And they're always talking about writing outside the box. And I was taught that writing what you know isn't enough and that you have to have strategic skills and abilities and tools to get yourself out of your comfort zone. And that is true. Yes, those are really important things to have. But writing what you know is actually really, really powerful. They didn't want to put restrictions on us, but they also were like, you don't have to get a little too deep. But really, you want to get a little deep. It's writing. You want to get a little deep. Number two is actually my favorite, and it is so important as someone who grew up with special needs and as someone who has a lot of friends that have special needs or need a little extra help. And I grew up with an IEP, all that stuff. And that is, they really want you to focus on writing at a college level in a college creative writing class. And I know what you're thinking, like, what? That sounds so dumb. Why would you be upset with that? Why would you be upset with that, Mila? Well, here's the thing is that you're then writing, like I said, for your professor and for your fellow students. Sadly, I'm pretty sure that the average reading level for people in the US is eighth grade. I will probably correct myself down here. So, when you're in college, your audience is going to be the professor and sometimes the students, and you're instructed really heavily to write in a college level, which could potentially be very alienating to people. And why is this an issue? Well, of course, not everybody reads at that reading level. And if you focus such an extensive amount on vocabulary and very glamorous sentence structure, which could otherwise be cumbersome, which, yes, is pretty and it might be lovely to you and great to read, but it really does alienate people. And as someone who grew up with dyslexia, I would want everyone to feel that way, and I would never want to feel alienated when reading something, especially if all of my other peers growing up were reading something. Really, as we read, we gain and become a better understanding of our own vocabulary. But sometimes for me personally, when I'm reading a book later, I'll end up taking my phone out and I'll end up just Googling a word that I haven't heard yet. And I'm glad that I'm learning new words and everything and how to use them. I understand where professors and instructors are coming from, where they're starting to see a really big wave of especially college kids, like college students who are just not that fabulous with grammar. And that is very reasonable to be worried about. So, kind of pushing us or not pushing us is, something that's part of their choice. But in the end, simple sentence structure is not a big deal. It won't alienate people. And also think of John Steinbeck. He's a very famous author who traditionally had very simplistic sentence structure, and his books are like famous. You don't have to write at a college level. It is okay to write at a high school or an eighth grade level, even if you're writing smut. It's not a big deal. Also taught to fear, and especially we have been taught to fear cliches. Oh my gosh, in the fear of bad writing. While that is subjective, although I do agree sometimes there is such thing as bad writing, really we were taught to fear cliches, but cliches exist for a reason. They're fun, they're a good starting point, and they can easily be cliches that everyone loves, and you can flip them on their head to create something new and exciting. Like, for example, in fantasy romance, there is this trope of, the dark, edgy love interest, edge, Thaylord, pirate, king, duke, whatever, is like 400 years old and she's just 18. Cliche, I would say, would just be the age difference as a whole. I flipped mine on his head, and in my book, I'm making him actually a little younger than her because I don't know. I just think that's kind of cool. I strive to be Madonna someday. Cliches are not the same as tropes, but we shop by them. Books are categorized by them. So cliches are ways that could either through character voice, story concept, or line quality, whether it was a dark and stormy night, or what's another word, or once upon a time, like kind of stuff like that. There's different levels of cliches, all the way from developmental stories to line quality to character concepts. Um, but I personally do not mind a few. I think cliches have to be their skin and bones. As a little side quest, as an example, note that I think the chosen one as a cliche is a really interesting cliche. It just needs you to add a lot to it to add context. Like, for example, ask, why is this person the chosen one and how? Is there a need for it? Can there be two chosen ones? Why does it have to be this person? Who shows up for that? And are there other people who benefit from this person being the chosen one? Does it have to be this way? As an example, are there backers behind it? Is it like betting on a horse race? Can there be two chosen ones? How can that work? Can someone be a chosen one for themselves? Can someone be the chosen one against their will? Or maybe they are fighting for the greater good, or that's what people think. But in actuality, once they achieve the full power and all the magic they can have, they're going to use it to destroy themselves, right? Because they don't want anyone ever again to have the magic that hurt them previously. I hope these were helpful, and I especially would love to hear of any other ones in the comments that you think I missed. This was Writing in Progress with your best friend Mila, who is living her best life lately as a beauty obsessed college student who is an aspiring actress and a writer. Please subscribe and hit the notifications, and I will see you in the next video. Toodaloo!